Sade. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we are continuing to read from Srimad Bhagavatam. We are on Canto 10, chapter 47. We are hearing the gopis. They saw Uddhav. They understood he is a special messenger come from Krishna. They've come with him to a secluded place and they're speaking to him. The gopis are speaking to Uddhav about how they really miss Krishna. They're feeling the separation from Krishna. Nisvam tyajanti ganika
निस्वं तजन्ति गणिका
akalpam nirpatim prajaha
अकल्पं नृपतिं प्रजः
adhita vidya acharyam
अधीत विद्या आचार्य
ritvijo datta dakshinam.
ऋतिज्यो तक्त दक्षिणम्.
Translation by the disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Prostitutes abandon a penniless man, subjects an incompetent king, students their teacher once they have finished their education, and priests a man who has remunerated them for a sacrifice. So the theme that the gopis are saying is like how the bees, they go to one flower, after they finish drinking the nectar, they abandon the flower. Or friends will be with certain people only for some time. And once the purpose is finished, then no more friendship. So personal interest. And now they are saying, uh, personal interest. A prostitute is with a man as long as he can pay her. If he can't pay her, she's not going to be with him. And the citizens of a state, if the king is competent, they will be with him. Otherwise, they don't want an incompetent king. And the students, they are with the teacher as long as their studies are not finished. Once the studies are finished, then they leave the school. And the priests, there are priests who are called to do the puja. So they will be once they finish the puja, they get their dakshina, then they go off. Khagavita phalam vriksham
खगावित्तफलं वृक्षं
bhuktva cha athithayo graham
भुक्ता चातीथयो ग्रहम्
dagdam mrigas tatharanyam
दग्धं मृग्या स्तहथारण्यम्
jara bhuktva ratam striyam.
चारा भुक्त्वा रतां स्त्रियम्.
Birds abandon a tree when its fruits are gone. Guests a house after they have eaten. Animals a forest that has burned down. And a lover the woman he has enjoyed, even though she remains attached to him. So birds will live in a tree where there are fruits. Once there are no fruits, then the birds are not gonna stay. They'll fly off. They have come to the tree for the fruits, and then once they don't find the fruit, they're gonna go off. The guests, after you feed the guests, then they'll be like, all right, time to go home. Or if there is a forest fire, the animals are not gonna stay there. And a fickle lover, a lover who's fickle, he's gonna be with a woman as long as he's enjoyed her. Once he's finished, then he leaves her. She may still be attached to him, but then he just leaves her. Iti gopyo hi govinde
इति गोप्यो हि गोविन्दे
gata vakaya manasaha
गतवाक्यायं मानसः
Krishna dute samayate
कृष्णदूते समायाते
uddhave tyakta laukikaha
उद्धवे तक्त लौकिकाः
gayantya priya karmani
गायन्त्य प्रियकर्माणि
rudantyascha gata hriyah
रुद्रन्त्यक्षः गतिः
tasya samsritya
तस्य संस्मृत्य
yani keshorabalyayo.
यानि कैशोरबाल्ययोः
Thus speaking, the gopis, whose words, bodies, and minds were fully dedicated to Lord Govinda, put aside all their regular work now that Krishna's messenger, Sri Uddhav, had arrived among them, constantly remembering the activities their beloved Krishna had performed in his childhood and youth. They sang about them and cried without shame. The word Balya Yoga here indicates that ever since their childhood, the gopis had been completely in love with Krishna. Thus, even though the social custom dictated that they not reveal their love to others, they forgot all external considerations and openly wept before Krishna's messenger, Uddhav. So the gopis loved Krishna since they were small. And now that Uddhav is there, they're speaking to him in a secluded place where the other Brajvasis are not there. And they're pouring their heart out to him. They're crying, they're remembering Krishna's pastimes because of the separation from Krishna. They're singing about Krishna, remembering him. Sukadev Goswami is saying the gopis whose words, bodies, and minds were fully dedicated to Lord Govinda. They're fully absorbed in Krishna, the gopis. Kachin madhukaram drishtva
काचिं मधुकरं दृष्ट्वा
yayanti Krishna sangamam
ध्यायन्ति कृष्णसङ्गमं
priya prasthapitam dutam
प्रियप्रस्थापितं दूतं
kalpayit vedam abravit.
कल्पयि त्वेदमप्रविष्टम्.
One of the gopis, while meditating on her previous association with Krishna, saw a honeybee before her and imagined it to be a messenger sent by her beloved. Thus she spoke as follows. Srimati Radharani is referred to in this verse as Kachit, a certain gopi, to establish that this particular gopi is in fact Srimati Radharani. Srila Jiva Goswami quotes the following verse from the Agni Puran. So Sukadev Goswami is saying, so when the gopis are speaking to Uddhav, what happens is one of the gopis, he's saying, her mind is completely absorbed in Krishna. And then she sees a honeybee, black color honeybee is there. And then she's thinking that this honeybee is a messenger sent by Krishna, sent by her beloved. She's completely absorbed in Krishna. There's no other consideration. And she speaks as follows. So Jiva Goswami is saying that this Gopi mentioned here is Srimati Radharani, and he's giving this evidence from Agni Puran. Gopya praprachur ushase Krishnanucharam Uddhavam Hari Leela Viharamscha Tatrekam Radhikam Vinam Radha Tadbhava Samlina Vasanaya Viramita Sakhibi Sapya Dachuta Vigyana Guna Jrimbitam Ejyante Vasinam Veda Charamamsa Vibhavane. At dawn, the gopis inquired from Krishna's servant, Uddhav, about the Lord's pastimes and recreation. Only Srimati Radharani, immersed in thought of Krishna, withdrew her interest in the talks. Then Radha, who is worshipped by the residents of her Vrindavan village, spoke up in the midst of her girlfriends. Her words were full of pure transcendental knowledge and expressed the ultimate portion of the Vedas. So Jiva Goswami is quoting this verse from Agni Puran. Agni Puran is saying when the gopis, it was really early in the morning, it was dawn, he heard, and they've come, they're speaking to Uddhav, they're asking him, talking about Krishna, and one of the gopis, and that is Srimati Radharani. She she withdrew herself and immersed in thought of Krishna, withdrew her interest in the talks. Then she just was meditating on Krishna. And then she spoke. Her words were full of pure transcendental knowledge and expressed the ultimate portion of the Vedas. Radharani is the queen of Vrindavan. She's worshipped by all the Brajvasis. In the Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Lord Krishna states, Vedascha sarver aham eva vedya. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. To know Krishna is to love Krishna. And thus Radharani, by her own example and words, revealed her supreme love for the Lord. So in the purport here we are seeing 15.15, Krishna says, Vedascha sarver aham eva vedya. All the purpose, why do the Vedas exist? The purpose of the Vedas for us is to love Krishna. To understand Krishna means to love Krishna. And because Radharani loves Krishna so much, when she's speaking, we can understand how much she loves Krishna. Can't even measure because it is unlimited, Srimati Radharani's love for Krishna. Having quoted the above verses from the Agni Puran, Srila Jiva Goswami also quotes the following from the Nishimatapani Upanishad, Purva Khanda 2.4. Yam sarve deva namanti mumukshavo brahmavadinascha. All the demigods and all the transcendental philosophers who desire liberation bow down to the Supreme Lord. You should follow suit. So, Jiva Goswami, after quoting that this particular gopi is Srimati Radharani, is quoting this verse from Agni Puran, he is also quoting from Nishimatapani Upanishad that even the demigods and all the anyone, transcendental philosophers who desire liberation, anyone who wants liberation, they worship the Supreme Lord, and we should do the same. Worship Krishna. Any comments, questions? Okay, so then we begin with the song of the week. Gopi Vacha.
Gopi Uvacha
I'm not sure how this will be. Madhuba Kitava Bandho
मधुप कितव बंधो
Mas Prashangarim Sapatnaya
माँ स्पर्श घंटीं संपल्यः
Kucha Vilulita Mala Kunkuma
कुछ विलुलित माला कुंग कुंग
Shma Shubhirnaha
स्वस्म श्रीभिन्यः
Vahatu Madhupatis
बहतु मधुपति
Tanmani Ninam Prasadam
स्तनमामिनी नामं प्रसादम
Yadu Sadasi Vidam Vyam
यदु सदसि विडम्ब्यं
Yasya Dutaswam Idrek.
यस्य दूतस्वत्वं मिद्र दक्क दृक्
The gopi said, "O honeybee, O friend of a cheetah, don't touch my feet with your whiskers, which are smeared with the kumkum that rubbed onto Krishna's garland when it was crushed by the breasts of a rival lover. Let Krishna satisfy the women of Mathura. One who sends a messenger like you will certainly be ridiculed in the Yadu's assembly." Srimati Radharani indirectly chastised Krishna by chastising the bumblebee, which he took for his messenger. She addressed the bumblebee as Madhupa, one who drinks the nectar of flowers, and she addressed Krishna as Madhupati, the Lord of Madhu. So Krishna is speaking to the bumblebee, and she's angry. She's missing Krishna. So she's chastising the bumblebee because she actually wants to say this to Krishna. So Madhupa here is citing Madhupa, one who drinks the nectar of flowers. He's going from flower to drink the nectar from the flower. And Madhupati Krishna is the Lord of Madhu. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti points out that this and the following 9 verses exemplify 10 kinds of impulsive speech spoken by a lover. This verse illustrates the qualities of Prajalpa as described by Srila Rupa Goswami in the following verse from his Ujjvala Neelamani 14.182. So Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying that these 10 verses that are spoken by Srimati Radharani, there are 10 kinds of impulsive speech spoken by a lover, because there's intense love. There's so much love. So the lover is just speaking out. And this is called qualities of Prajalpa. This verse, what Srimati Radharani is saying. It's being described by Srila Rupa Goswami in Ujjvala Neelamani. Asuryesya madayuja yo vadhirana mudraya priya yasya kaushalodgara prajalpa satu kiryate. Prajalpa is speech that denigrates the tactlessness of one's lover with expressions of disrespect. It is spoken in a mood of envy, jealousy, and pride. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti points out that the word Kitava Bandho expresses envy. The phrase from Sapatnya Duna, jealousy. The phrase Masprisha Angrim, pride. And the phrase from Pahatu to Prasadam, disrespect. While the phrase from Yadu Sadasi to the end of the verse decries Krishna's tactless treatment of Radharani. So, why is it called Prajalpa? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is saying He's taking this from Nila Ujjwala Mani of Rupa Goswami. Rupa Goswami saying that when a lover is speaking with disrespect, with and there's feelings of envy there and jealousy and pride, and also speaking about the tactlessness of one's lover. So this is Prajalpa. And so Srimati Radharani is speaking that way in this. She's saying, you are a friend of a cheetah. So she's calling Krishna a cheetah. That's why she's like, don't touch my feet with your whiskers. Why you don't touch your feet? Because you have gone and you have sat on the flowers which are on Krishna's garland. But these flowers have the kumkum. From where did the kumkum come? When Krishna embraces his lovers in Mathura. So the breast of the lover has kumkum, those ladies of Mathura has kumkum. And when Krishna embraced that lady, so that kumkum has come on the garland. And now because you sat on your garland, on that garland, your whiskers has that kumkum. So don't touch my feet. Krishna is a cheater. He's going off with other women. And then he's sending you as a messenger. Of course, he's going to be ridiculed in Yadu's assembly. She's thinking he's a messenger sent by Krishna. She's completely absorbed in Krishna. So she's thinking, oh, this honeybee, Madhupa, is sent by Madhupati, the Lord of Madhu. So her mood, a little bit of her mood is being shown here. She's angry and she's jealous and she's envious and there's pride. And she's saying, oh, tactlessness of one's lover with expressions of disrespect. And how he's sending a messenger like you, it's going to be ridiculed by the Yadus. Any comments? No. Okay. So let's stop here then. Thank you so much for listening and joining. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.